me. There's something you kind of told me that stuck with me, and it resonated with me in a sense. And we were talking about your story and sort of how you got to Careem as well. And I had kind of an entrepreneurial story, but just a very different than yours. And one of the things you told me that you thought about once you got to Careem and once you decided kind of to double down on the work and like work extra hard and get things done, is kind of looking at people around you, your friends or people around you that had taken a different route in terms of normal jobs, and then they had gotten to certain places where you felt, okay, like what have I kind of done in the last uh, however many years? Like the entrepreneurial life kind of just beat you like both up down, and then, which is this essentially what it is, right? Like on the ceiling, on the ground, on the ceiling, and you look back and you think, in the sense of traditional sort of moving up, like have I done anything in that sense? So did I describe that accurately, or like what was your feeling at the time?
Yeah, and I think people underestimate how difficult it is, being in a startup and being a startup founder or co-founder. I once told Mudassir that I think if you want to look up a statistically based, the best advice you can give to startups is basically don't start.
Yeah, yeah, statistically, yeah.
Because it is, very, very, very difficult. And what makes it even more difficult now is the availability of money. So without money, you either have people who are willing to die to make it, which is what's needed, or ideas that aren't that great, they just don't scale fast enough, so they die quickly and you don't waste so much time doing them. The problem with having too much funding in the market is that, bad ideas or teams that aren't that great, or teams that don't work well together. With funding, you just keep going and you just keep going, and you have a salary that's, you put a salary for yourself and you just keep trying and experimenting, and kind of like prolongs the death of your idea. That should have maybe, died off like in 6 months. It dies in like 2 years. And then those 2 years end, and then you look around and you're like with a team of 10, 15, 20 people, like, okay, now what have we done? Now we've wasted 2 years of everyone's time, and everyone has to go start over again. And then usually the founders end up, feeling lost and not knowing where to go or to start over again, that whole thing. So yeah, I think just the whole path isn't the most obvious one, the easiest one to take.
So how do you kind of jump into? So that was kind of, I was setting up for. So you obviously did well, Careem. You guys have accomplished some amazing things. I mean, regionally and most specifically in Jordan, I know what a like tough battle that was, very uphill to say the least. So what made you kind of decide to jump in the deep end again with
It wasn't
Abwaab?
an easy decision. It wasn't an easy decision. Honestly, I mean, I have to kind of give credit to my co-founder who kept pushing for like a year and a half, almost nonstop daily, nagging on me to leave and join him on board. And I kind of was hesitant, and I kind of, I didn't get cold feet because it wasn't easy. I mean, Careem was, it was one of the most exciting companies to be a part of, the most exciting stories to be a part of. And having built a close relationship with the founders and with the team, and built a team from scratch, and having developed relationships with other GMs, and being paid well and getting all of these benefits, it wasn't easy to leave. It wasn't an obvious decision to do, and leaving that for something that's uncertain, that could die out in a year and a half, wasn't it wasn't the easy choice to do. But I think you kind of get addicted to I think they call it like something like the entrepreneurial bug. You kind of get addicted to
What aspect
fast
of that?
growth,
Yeah.
exponential growth. You see numbers. I mean, we used to have double-digit growth week over week for a year. We'd go from 10 rides a day, and then 6 months later we're like at 4,000 rides a day, and it was just crazy and
Huge.
training for that. And you kind of get used to that, and when everything kind of matured and got regulated and plateaued, you kind of want to get that excitement again.